1. We are down to countdown day 1. 1 day left before the 27th, as it is 7:15 a.m. September 26, 2025. And before this should get a little too crazy today, let's go on over for the sunrise, shall we? Alrighty, we have made it to our sunrise location. As you can see, we have nothing in our skies from the 360 viewing. We do have a little bit of fog across the field once again. Got some pretty decent looking skies back here for the most part. Now I can see jet aircraft in the back there. So that's indications of the possibilities that we could be seeing an increase in sky activities throughout this day. But that's just a guesstimation at this point. Okay, so I'm going to try to keep this just as short as possible, so I will be incorporating quite a few pauses as we wait for this sunrise. And yeah, there you go. You might be able to see that just a little bit better. It sounds like we got a train doing an early morning travel here, as this small village is slowly waking up. Yeah, there's actually quite a little bit of fog off in this distance. You can actually see that kind of a bank back here. And yes, I am zoomed in all the way. Unfortunately, you know. Yeah, and that's come on. Boy, already my camera is not wanting to function properly. Look at this, just ridiculous. I've never had issues like this until, you know, they brought about this nonsense called artificial intelligence. But I'm going to try to steer clear of going off on a rant. And I've got quite the strong idea that the location of the sunrise will be taking place in a far cry different area, if you will, than what we have seen in my previous sunrise recordings. As of course, you know, we've got this change of the season, and already we are experiencing darker hours for longer periods in the morning. And as far as weather-wise, yeah, I'm dressed in a t-shirt and jeans. Comfortable, but yet out here seeing my breath. I have no idea what the actual temperatures are though right now. However, I can state through our recent meteorological report of the weather that we are supposed to have an increase in temperatures to bring about unseasonably warm days. And that is to, well, I think that actually begins today. I am not sure. And of course, you know, the typical fall narrative is all about the droughts. So they've been talking a lot about that, and our recent rainfalls that we've had. And yeah, I've not heard of any updates to our drought situation. Yes, I can already tell that the sunrise is going to be taking place much further away than what we've seen in my last sunrise recording. It appears as though it's going to be rising up from the horizon beyond this barn and trees. And as a side note, I am really keeping my fingers crossed that the viewers that are out there that's sort of somewhat following along. If this kind of content really interests you, then I would urge you to really pay attention to what I will be revealing in the upcoming days pertaining to my connections that I have made as far as that 1566 event that took place in Nuremberg and Basel. And making those connections to what I have been observing, recording, and sharing today in regards to at least one object in the vicinity of the sun. And we might as well just call it a spherical object from here on out, as that is the case. And the case might be more to show up, to become visible, okay? Because it seems as though there's a transparency situation that kicks off with, I'm going to go ahead and jump the gun and say objects, all right? But I do believe that there's connections to be made to today and recent times. And I believe that it fits into prophecies, mind you, plural, prophecies of many natures, but this is one that, is not being focused upon. And, okay. Thought somebody was going to drive down the Ann Urban here. But anyways, I do believe that this is going to roll out and it's going to lead into war. But we'll go further into that because I do have further predictions pertaining to war. And of course, using my observations as lead-ins of information of where we're going with all this. And yeah, it does appear as though we're going to have to wait a little bit longer because of the obstruction of this barn with the smokestack and the trees. So we have slid over quite dramatically since our last Skyrise recording from this location. Oh, and something else as a side note. Okay, as you can see these clouds of steam coming up in the background here, or smoke from a plant, I don't know. Yeah, that could be coming from the plastics plant that we have here. I'm not sure. But anyways, there is an abundance of moisture in the air without any of those telltale signs of moisture to the observance of clouds. Okay? But yet, I walk down into the parking lot and the cars are dripping with condensation. I'm seeing my breath, which is another form of condensation. We are seeing the smoke back here, which could be steam, another form of condensation. We've seen the fog across the field. That is a form of condensation. But yet, where's the clouds with all this condensation? Oh, they have not been created yet. And now we have the sunrise peeking over, once again, the barn. So I'm calling this correctly so far with my observations, or through my observations. Once again, we are max zoomed in. I'm sorry, people, for my narration, as it is very early in the morning this morning, because I woke up quite a little bit later than I typically do. And I had some breathing issues this morning. I'm still having some sinus issues. And not to be a whiny butt, but yeah, I am quite stiff and sore already from carrying what I carried back from the store yesterday. All right, and I did bring my polarized sunglasses, and I'm going to go ahead and we are dimming this light. Well, we're going, yeah. I don't want to go too much, because I have noticed that here recently the dimming factor of the exterior light is not really helping to bring out the objects as it once was. A lot of experimentation that's gone down into capturing this object, and it might take just that much more to capture further objects. Okay, so this is point in time to where I'm going to go ahead and go back to the regular lighting, brighten this up a little bit. We're going to go ahead and pop our lens, polarized sunglasses lens, over the lens of the camera, and dim this down a little bit here. Of course, when I'm using my glasses, that kind of throws off my handling of the camera. Okay, I am hearing an aircraft. Okay, and there is this aircraft up here, and it's a strange looking one. Let's see if we can. And of course it's I've already lost him. He's back here someplace, but getting very small up here in the sky. No trail whatsoever, okay? And that was a rather loud rumbler, and once again, just from what I was observing, there's our object already. So we're once again going all over the place with the recording. Boy, and it's quite the distance away from the light, it appears. It should be coming into viewing that much better here shortly. Okay, let's go ahead and go to our just regular lighting here. Okay, can we see it? And we get this in focus. There we go. Let's got to get that lighting just right, I'm telling you. Okay. Let's go ahead and go back to the regular lighting and see if we can why it is. It's quite the distance away this morning. Oh, could that possibly be because we're supposed to be in the change of seasons? And could I be correct in my assumptions that when this object comes in closer to this ball of light, that it does in fact increase the brightness as well as the heat? And now we are, in that seasonal change from summer to autumn, or actually into autumn. And now this is beginning to get further away from the sun, and we are experiencing cooler temperatures. But what's going to be the case over the next couple of days as we are to be having a rise in our temperatures? As the day progresses, will this become closer to this ball of light as we get warmer with our temperatures? Okay, there's just dimming the light. Again, just so you see this, dim that lighting down. There it is. Of course, I have to monkey around every so often, trying to pull this in that much better. Okay, I'm going to pause this for a moment. Okay, so that is getting a little bit brighter here. Let's go back to the regular lighting. Yeah, the lens isn't that great now, so we'll just go ahead and the color scheme is changing out here as far as how it's affecting my camera through this phone. And I have to stop using that possessive word of my. Yeah, coming in rather decent without having to really monkey around with the lighting and using the lens. And there's the lens being incorporated right here. Back again. And even though I don't have the greatest of camera, man, been working rather well for what we've got kicking off and have had kicking off. Very good dog that it did not bark at me. And yeah, whoop, my bad. Looking around behind me because geese activity. Yeah. I'm going to brighten something I just don't do. Look at that. I added external light. Okay, in other words, I brightened it up out here a little bit. Oh, let's not do that. Let's go ahead and go on back to this. Alright, so anyways, we have gotten a pretty decent capture of at least this single object rising along with the sun. And it does appear as though it is creeping in closer. So, warmer temperatures on the way for today, right? Okay, so anyways, I rushed around this morning. I'm still half asleep because of the lack of coffee and yada yada yada. I haven't even had breakfast, but then again, I typically wait till after I tend to the critters, which that is still yet on the agenda for today. So, thank you for joining me, and remember, we are down to countdown day 1. Tomorrow is our blast-off day, as it is the 27th of September. And if we are having, these kind of sightings today, well, what might tomorrow bring about? So on that note, I still have yesterday's content to finish posting at this given time, so we are ending this, and I will bid you a fond farewell for the time being, and ask you all to take care of yourselves, take care of one another. Much love to you all, and of course, have yourselves a great one.